Sumatendu is a 20-year-old university student living alone with no girlfriend and has no plans just like you. His life had nothing dramatic within just the same boring day while being bugged by others. His life had two people that made it shine. It was his Oshis or bias. One of them was Henrietta, a VTuber with quite a few subscribers. He started watching her without thought, like a video of her struggling to hold a wheel up. It becomes addicting to watch an innocent person perform dangerous things. Before he knew it, he became a dedicated fan. He decided to sit down and watch a video of her eating spicy yakisoba. While he was watching it, he felt concern for her, burning her thumb when draining water. She ate the ramen, and it was too spicy for her, causing tears in her eyes, and he was panicking as if she could hear him. She was struggling to speak properly and said it was nothing she couldn't handle, wanting to try the super spicy version. Suma said it was nerve-wracking to watch, and his Oshi couldn't stream as she's moving homes. His second Oshi is named Hiyori Yatsuzumi, a voice actor meeting her in an idol training mobile game, then at a live concert. Her appearance and voice talk his heart away. Just like everybody else in the crowd, their eyes were stuck on her. She used to be a small voice actress, but she built a successful career, and he was boasting over being a long-term fan. He went outside his apartment room and saw piles of boxes with a woman moving to the door next to his. The woman he saw looked like a child, and he had many questions, but decided to leave them. 2 hours later, he went to several stores, but couldn't find his desired item, but something caught his eye's attention. The luggage from earlier didn't decrease, while the woman was dizzy, muttering she has to hurry. He came to the rescue with his hand ready to catch something. However, he didn't expect to catch her whole body. While blushing, she apologized to him, but he could only see her beauty. He immediately dipped away, saying he was sorry, while trying to clear up the suspicion of him being a creepy stalker. She introduced herself as Hayashiju, being the same age, and he was surprised she was a university student. She did remote work instead, but told him it was nothing impressive. He noticed her hands had a bandage wrapped around her thumb because of a burn similar to the one to his Oshi. She was overwhelmed, wanting everything to be done, and the moving company left the luggage at the entrance and left, but upon further inspection, that was their company policy. She thought the people in big cities were mean, but she just hired a super cheap plan. She turned around, deciding to get the tallest box, but she was struggling to reach it. He decided to reach for the box for her, and she had eyes of admiration, and he said he was free all day. She retracted her arm, and he thought she didn't want a man to enter her room. Instead, she bowed down, asking for a favor, causing him to smile. He was put into free labor, having to move and open boxes, while putting her stuff all over the room. The final product was glistening, and he decided to clean the dust. She teased him over how he likes clean things and mentioned she had lots of computers for work. He decided to open a box and saw a plushie of his Oceanette, and he didn't even have plushies of his idols. A loud sound startled him, which was from Hayashiro. He rushed to her room and saw her on the floor in pain with her clothes all over the place, causing his eyes to burst. She looked at him with disgust, asking if he saw, but he didn't see anything while thinking about all the colors he saw. Eventually, they were done, and he was the lifesaver, and she wanted his contact information for future purposes. They exchanged it, but putting their phones near each other, and he would call her Shizuka, and she would call him Suma. He confirmed his name, and she confirmed hers, and he was looking forward to working with her. She held her phone out to him, and was also looking forward to working with him. Her smile captivated his senses to only focus on her. Back in his room, he was thinking about how pretty his neighbor was. He could only think about that moment when he saw all her clothes, and he decided to watch Anetta's stream to calm himself down. She was going to eat the spicy noodles, and was glad they sold it near her house. Suma was starving, and wondered why she would eat the super spicy one after dying to the regular. Back at the supermarket, his face looked shocked that the super spicy noodles were selling, and wondered why people would eat that outside of a content farm. Her death began as she kept screaming. She called for help, calling it too spicy, and wanted water as she couldn't handle the spice anymore. While eating his own noodles, he wondered if it was the third floor of hell, but she managed to finish it all. Suma congratulated her, but she would end her stream because she wasn't feeling well. Her video was trending, and he would check her post of her setup being awfully similar to what he saw earlier at Shizu's room. He didn't believe it was true, but the next post was a plushie, and he realized everything added up on who she definitely was. He yelled, "No way she's my neighbor." He needed to calm himself and just drank his coffee to calm himself. But he couldn't calm himself down anymore, deciding to watch another stream. He realized her personality was cute and didn't know what to do from there forth. He didn't know whether to tell her as if he did. He didn't have anything to hide, but if he didn't, they could stay as friendly neighbors. He decided to send a message down while drowning his ears with live stream footage of his Oshi. He accidentally said it and wasn't prepared for the aftermath. His door bursted open, and she asked what his messages meant while looking anxious, and he apologized. She kneeled, saying she was hopeless to be recognized, even though she was told not to be. Usually showing off an exterior of an apartment leads to being found by stalkers, but showing her setup wouldn't normally lead to an identity reveal. Suma clasped his hands together, giving non-stop apologies, saying, "Ette is his Oshi." She began to blush, but realized for one of her fans to see her other side, he must hate her. He waved that idea away from her, telling her he likes her even more, which resulted in him claiming her heart. He began smoothly talking his way to getting her to stay, and didn't want her to move, but if she did, he wouldn't stop her. This caused her heart to beat quickly, and admired our boy's words. She wasn't going to move because she was fortunate enough to have a reliable neighbor. Eventually, they said their goodbyes, and he thought his dreamful life was coming true. However, the beautiful streamer started walking back to her room, and she began to dream all about Suma, to the point everything else didn't matter. The next time she moved herself to the balcony, glad that things went well because she thought moving all those boxes earlier would turn terribly. But our handsome Suma decided to save the day. She only had the neighbor on her mind, and this continued to his introduction, and she didn't think it was supposed to be this easy. Zaria called her and asked all about her move to the new apartment, and we learned she was also a VTuber. She had difficulty convincing her parents, and she mentioned that her neighbor helped her unpack her belongings. She was expecting to be nagged for this act, but the person on the receiving end just asked if she was fine. She was told to be careful, and she was sweating while trying to hide the fact she was exposed. She was glad the conversation was over, and she certainly got exposed for being a VTuber. The next day, Suma was eyeing the Doracure collab item and was happy having an Oshi makes him richer. He walked through the aisle and coincidentally found Shizuka shopping too. He assumed she was buying stuff for her streams, and she had more than enough spicy noodles yesterday. He asked what she was doing for dinner, but, like an unloyal wife, she dodged the question. In her basket were layers of instant noodles, and she was embarrassed. Her kitchen didn't have a microwave to eat properly with, and she was going to buy one with her millions of dollars that you don't have. During the movie yesterday, he realized her complete sense of money was off. He decided to buy her a microwave to prevent her from being scammed, and she was ecstatic over that. If he didn't go, she would buy an industrial oven, and she wanted to go right now, which was fine with him. She was like a rich kid with lots of money, as she decided to step away from Suma and decided to buy an industrial oven. He began to tell her all about home appliances, and with this level of knowledge, he might as well become a debater. He knew all this because he cooks at home, and she lived with her parents, so she couldn't. But he knew it didn't count for any reason. He kept talking about what was needed, and she realized that he was going to serve her right in many ways. She was proud of buying a microwave and was fine with it only having one feature, but looked a bit sorry for letting him carry it. He was fine with it, as it would have taken a week for delivery, which made her stare right at him. She thanked him, and it was no big deal, and she began to list things he did which made her say, "Thank you," once again. He looked at her this time, and her smile took his heart away. He asked why she was suddenly formal, and here came a little backstory. Her parents opposed her moving to Tokyo because it was full of cold-hearted people, however. It wasn't true due to Suma breaking it. Once again, she said, "Thank you this time," causing him to instantly attract him, forgetting online girls were his love was. Her expressions were too much to handle, making him say the microwave would be hard to set up, and she asked about setting it up. This clueless individual didn't think about setting it up. His face was distorted, and he said he would go do it for her. She yelled, saying he didn't have to do that, and that reaction was unexpected. He didn't want the microwave to collect dust, and he wanted him to rely on her, but she was hiding an important fact. Eventually, they arrived, and she asked for 5 minutes and decided to go on ahead. He wondered what she couldn't show him, but then he heard screams of help from her room and decided to barge his way through. Inside it looked like a breeding ground for cockroaches to form new legs, and she wanted his help. He couldn't believe this, and wondered if it was for real. Shizuka mentioned shyly that her room may have gotten messy, but he couldn't believe she said it was a little messy. To make a mess like hers where black odor was all over the place was a talent. And then he was finding relics of her streams, and while cleaning he was disappointed how Shizuka's behavior was different from Etta. Her image was ruined from being an elegant princess to a slob. He didn't like this, and decided to unleash his haki. He told her to clean this room as soon as possible, and she was frightened to talk back. He began acting as a military drill leader, and made her clean in the way he would like it. She was in tears pleading, but he wanted her to continue cleaning, and asked if she was like this in her parents' house. She admitted her mom did all the cleaning, but she asked if he was disappointed with an upset look. He didn't lie, and said he would because she was pushed as a pure and elegant person. Black clouds formed next to her butt. After he said she was cute because of her flaws, her shine started to show. She could only think about being called cute, but he decided to make sure she can live by herself without help making her scream for some reason. He boldly claimed he would clean her room for her, but stumbled upon coverings. He picked it up, thinking it was just fabric to hide the fact it was coverings. However, she called him a pervert for doing that. Eventually, everything was crystal clean. He suggested she clean like this every day, but she didn't want to dedicate her time. She started crying, saying it was too hard for her, and needed him to do it for her. He does it every day at his home because it wasn't hard, and she demanded evidence of his clean room. He mentioned she came yesterday, but she didn't have a proper look. She was shocked he wasn't lying, and he said it was normal while she was interested in how he did it. She was shy, her stomach growled, and he laughed it off, saying he was hungry too. They acted like close friends, and he took the initiative to cook for the both of them. She didn't want to act a useless fool and asked if he needed help. However, he noticed she was tired from cleaning, so he didn't need her. "Thank you," she said. She was sitting at the table and noticed Suma was wearing an apron, causing her to dream about him. He finished making his fish dish, and she was quite impressed, but the humble person he is said it was not hard. She put a piece in her mouth, and it taught her to stop buying cup noodles. She was admiring how good the food is, and he learned having someone to eat his food lit his world up. Cooking was difficult for her, and he wouldn't let her dare touch a knife. She liked homemade food, making her reminiscent about her home food her parents made. When she was in her hometown, she ate meals with her family every day and was lonely when she had to eat alone. He could relate until he found a VTuber to spend his money on. She called his name out while putting down her bowl, and he wondered what was up. He asked if there was an issue, and she said nothing while complimenting his cooking. He recognized she was panicking, thus she called her name out and asked if she wanted to eat at his place from thereforth. She was in disbelief, and he started to relate to her comments because of experience. He would only eat with her with dinner because of school, and she wanted to eat dinner with him before he even asked. He said it was settled, but she stuck her hand out. He didn't know what she was doing, but she wanted to make the request herself. She said, "Suma, please eat dinner with me from now on." Her pretty demeanor startled her, and he was bright red. She would continue to work with him, and he would do the same. The next day, his lecture ended, and he went on his phone to figure out what he should make for dinner. He would pass a girl with long black hair while he wore his nice outfit. The girl stood still and turned around. "Oni-chan," she said.